member to report. Yes. Okay. Wow, 12 people. Let's see. All the dogs started barking when they heard you, Wendy. Valerie and Hoover.
Hi, I'm just stuffing my face with dinner and you don't want to hear or see that.
That's okay. It's all right. And you have Dior also still, right?
Hmm?
You still have Dior?
I do.
Okay. Well, we don't want to leave Dior out on our attendance.
No, precious.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start just with reminders, things that we start most of our trainings with, but I feel like they're important things that we don't want to forget. Thank you to those of you who are putting your name in the chat or putting your name on a little thingy. I see Kelly and Corduroy. Okay. First thing I want to remind you, if you've not gotten your newsletter, and we'll probably say this at the end also, please put that in the chat that you haven't received it because I believe that it went out. So we want to make sure that you have the dates that are upcoming. The first date that's super important, and I'll put this in the chat, is on 1/18, which is a different day. It's a Friday. There is training at IKEA in Orlando. And I think it's Laura, are you here? I thought I heard her voice. She's not here yet. Okay, I want to say it's 6:30 to 8:30, but anyway, it is a Friday night. I know some of us are going to go a little bit early and try to do dinner, if not at IKEA, somewhere near there.
7 to 9.
Thank you. 7 to 9. 7 to 9. And it's the IKEA in Orlando near the Millennium Mall, right? Millennium Mall? Millennium Mall? Millennia? Is it Millennium?
Millennium Mall, yes.
Okay.
Mall of Millennia, I think is actually what it's
Okay. All right.
titled.
Well, so just so you know, that's a change from our normal Saturday trainings. We want to make sure that if you can get there, great. Also, there will be, I know January seems like far away, but I'm pretty sure that I will be on the west coast of Florida in January, and I will be doing a training on the west coast of Florida somewhere. I don't know where yet, but it will be happening in January after the holidays are over. So if you're over on the west coast, it will be happening. All right. Oh, Laura, we just were told that the newsletter says 6 to 8. And I looked at the newsletter, but I don't obviously.
Yeah, they beat me. I was just looking it up. I thought it was 6 to 8.
No, so whoever asked if it was one, it's 11/18, like November 18th. It's a Friday.
The IKEA one? Yeah. It's a Friday night.
Right, but they're saying that the newsletter says 6 to 8.
Okay, 6 to 8. I didn't have it in front of me. I was guessing.
Okay, folks, 6 to 8. Friday, November 18th, 6 to 8. That should be a fun training. IKEA is a great place to go. I'm sure they'll love having our dogs. And Valerie says, you know what, Valerie, that's perfectly fine. If there's anything we can do to help you get there and have your night not be crazy, let us know. Like if you need us to pick up dogs or something.
All good.
Okay. So that's just, we're just trying to switch things up a little bit. Sometimes we know that Saturday mornings are difficult for some people. So maybe Friday night we'll grab some different people. And if that doesn't work for you at all, then it's important that you come to the Zoom trainings. So if you are new, and I'm looking and I don't really see anybody new. I know we have some new raisers, but I don't see them on here. You want to be sure that no matter what age your dog is, that you are being sure that they are spending part of their time in a crate. So that could look different for you. It could be that you that you have an older dog and you put the dog in the crate one night and the next night the dog gets to stay out, and that's your schedule. That's fine as long as that dog is not getting used to not going in the crate. Because when they come back to New Horizons at any point in time, they are going to be put in a crate, and we don't want our dogs freaking out and not being used to it. Somebody said, what if I work during the day? Can they be in the crate during the day and out at night if they behave? Absolutely. If you're comfortable leaving the dog out of the crate because you feel bad that they're in it all day, absolutely let them stay out at night. So I tend to shift back and forth with Kayak. He is a 10-month-old, and he will be in the RV in a crate for a night or two, and then he'll be out for a night or two. So do what works for you and your family, but please be sure that you are not leaving the crates out of there. I was waving at Laura. Out of the equation. That's the first thing. Okay, I'm just checking my little list off. We've talked about this often. Please be sure that your dog looks good when they go out. Notice I didn't use the words well groomed, because some people get confused by that and think they have to take their dog to a groomer. No, just that your dog smells good, that they look good, that they don't have poop hanging from their butts, and that their feet don't look grinchy. So just be sure that they look good when they go out. They and as well as you are representing New Horizons, and people are watching. When they see a dog in a vest, especially nowadays with so many fakes out there, they're looking. So if you go out and your dog is not behaving, maybe step out. Maybe this isn't your dog's day or your dog's minute or whatever. Give them a chance to regroup, because we all need that time sometimes. Dogs should not have Grinch feet when they go out. I know on our friends page, if you go to videos, there are videos in there that show how to trim their feet. I know not everybody is comfortable with that, but they should not be going out with all the hair growing up through the feet. That's more for the Goldens than the Labs. Please make sure you're calling the office for medical stuff. Also be proactive, call your own vet, obviously, but definitely call the office for medical. If it's a training question and you just have something's going on with your dog, reach out to us, Laura or I, and if we can't answer it, we will get the answer or call the office and get the answer. If it's too, I don't want to say serious, but if it's too serious for us, we know, and we'll say, you definitely need to call the office about this. Also tonight, if you have questions, don't wait until the Q&A to ask. I mean, even though we do have the Q&A, you don't have to wait until that to ask a question. Even though this is officially a training, you can ask questions. Okay, I think I got all of oh, no. For anybody who is near Daytona, I was going through an old newsletter of Laura's today. Don't forget that Daytona Obedience Club of Daytona offers free training to New Horizons dogs. Now, I know a lot of us don't live anywhere near there, but if you do, I will tell you, if you live within 40 minutes, it's worth it to go there. They have excellent trainers. They have an excellent facility. If you were at our June training, we're able to use that. We're hopefully going to get in again there, but it's free. You call them, you tell them you're a New Horizons. Well, you're not a New Horizons dog, but you have a New Horizons dog, and you would like to get in on a training. So, okay. With that said, Laura, did you want to add anything else in? Laura?
Kelly's just ignore the person behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I'm driving.
She's driving. She's got the controls.
Okay, gotcha.
Just gonna say that they did ask that food pickups be done on Tuesday and Thursday, and that you call ahead, just to be sure they have what you need. They're trying to get phone calls. The phones will be manned, personed, Caitlin, whatever, in the mornings from 9 to noon. After that, it's probably gonna go to voicemail. They will be checking voicemail, but if you really need to talk with Caitlin or Janet or somebody, you need to call in the morning. I've gotten kind of special dispensation to come through on Wednesdays. So I will try to put a thing out to the group, that the Lake Mary group, and say, I'm stopping by on my way from the farmer's market and I can pick stuff up and get it as far south as Lake Mary. So those were the only things that the office had asked differently than usual. There's a whole bunch of events coming up, a lot of opportunities for exposures, and a whole bunch of them are on the same day. So don't feel like you have to go to everything, but do try to get your dog out to a representative of different kinds of things. Like the 3rd, there's 2 parades. That would be way too much for most dogs. To try to do a morning parade and then an evening parade. They get stressed. They are working hard to maintain during those parades. And if you've got a younger dog, particularly, one of those parades, they're going to be wiped out at the end of it. So be aware that, oh, it was really fun, and your dog is done. I literally, first parade I did with a dog for New Horizons, I couldn't get back to my car because the dog was done, and he was flat in the grass and not moving. And he was big enough that I wasn't carrying him. I'm not Wendy. And so I'm on the phone with my husband going, okay, we're at this intersection, and if I can get him to move another block, I'll let you know. And we literally went block by block with him just going.
Was that Fender?
Yes,
Oh.
that was Fender. That was that poor dog. Okay, Fender, just 5 steps. Come on.
Yeah. Yep. It is exhausting for them. It's a great experience for them to participate. So we did get into the Winter Park Parade in Orlando, which is December 3rd in the morning. And we don't have times or any specifics yet. Hopefully we are piggybacking on a company that paid for New Horizons to be in the parade. So they did that a few years ago for us. We're very appreciative. They're wonderful to our dogs. Usually they come with different decorations for us to put on and that kind of thing. But that's a really cool parade to be in. And then the DeLand parade is as well. So I guess you just have to choose if there's a location that's better. The goal for us would be to have at least 10 raisers at each, 10 in Winter Park and 10 in DeLand.
Luke and I are gonna try to bring ours for the night parade at DeLand.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know that Christy has like a QR code or something where you say if you're going to be at the DeLand parade. But we also kind of need to know, I mean, if this company has paid for us to be in Winter Park. So I kind of feel like we should also really represent there as best we can. So if we can split people, that would be really helpful.
We'll get a flyer. Christy will do a flyer for the AM parade as soon as we have the details. We are literally waiting on our sponsor to get us what is the start time and where are we going to gather to do that. As soon as we know it, we'll get it to Christy. She'll get it in a flyer and it'll be out. So stay tuned for coming attractions.
And yes, Kirsten, the DeLand parade is the same date. The Winter Park is in the morning at usually at 9 or 10, somewhere in there. And then the DeLand parade is at 6, I believe, but we usually have to be there early. So yeah, DeLand in the evening, Winter Park in the morning. So
the morning one, break out your reindeer headbands and your jingle bells and silly shirts and crazy socks for you or the dogs. The evening one, hit the dollar store early And they have little battery pack light sets that are super simple to just tack along around their vest. The battery pack fits in the pocket and they look very festive. And it's super, super easy to do.
Mhm.
But you could start doing that now because those kinds of things will go pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
We
And it-
also, did you mention about pictures with Santa?
Not yet.
Okay. I don't have, wait, I'm waiting to get in my calendar.
Oh, okay, so we have an opportunity. There is some people, parents of that Laura and I taught a student who they go and they are Santa and Mrs. Claus every year. If you've done this with us before, you know who they are, or you've experienced this before, and they are wonderful. And they offer this to us free. They come out now. Normally, like at parties and stuff, they charge, but for nonprofits, they don't charge anything. And I want to say it's December 11th.
That's right, from 3 to 5.
Yeah.
And that will actually be our in-person training. From 3 to 4, we'll do some skills. We'll work on some specifics. And then from 4 to 5, we'll have pictures with Mr. and Mrs. Claus and the dogs and all of the dogs
On the 11th?
on the 11th. It's a
Okay.
Sunday.
That's the day after the party.
Yes.
It'll be the gazebo in Lake Mary Park. If you've ever been before, it's the same place. And if you haven't, it's in Lake Mary. It's a nice little area.
Lake Mary
there.
Boulevard and Country Club, that intersection. We also have a dinner reservation at 5 o'clock that evening at 4th Street Grill, which has a really nice outside area. They have a fireplace if it's chilly, and they have ceiling fans if it's hot. But we can bring as many dogs and people, we can fill their porch, and it's a big porch, so.
Jessica Cooper, I see you got kicked off and you're not sure if your food message went through. I don't think it did.
So I was just giving a recommendation to only buy one bag of food at a time and check it when you get it. I've had a couple bags with issues. One bag that sat for a month in my garage before using it had bugs in it when I opened it. And since it had been so long, they couldn't replace it for me. So there's 50 bucks
Oh.
out the window.
Oh,
And then
no.
the current bag of food I have, halfway through, Mecca stopped eating it. And DJ watched her and she said the food was a different color than what she has, and Mecca was eating hers. And it's the same kind. So I don't know what's going on with the food right now, but I don't want to keep eating 50 bucks. So I'm
Right.
only going to buy one bag at a time and open it right away. DJ recommended sticking it in the freezer. I don't have a freezer big enough for that whole bag of food. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but I would just start checking your food.
Did you let the office know about that? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, but they're not doing anything about it because it's been then that's Janet's that was Janet's final decision.
Jessica, did you talk about this most recent bag and her not wanting to eat that? Because I hadn't heard that.
No, I wasn't even going to try the second go around since the first bag, nothing was happening with that. So I figured since it didn't happen until halfway through the bag, I figured it was still too long of having the bag for anyone to want to do anything about it. So I just picked up another brand new bag. I had DJ pick it up for me a week ago and about to start using it. So hopefully this one won't give me any issues.
Interesting. I didn't even think, I just bought a bag the other day. I didn't even think about checking it. The dog ate it, but so I guess.
Yeah, she
Right.
ate half the bag and then stopped eating it, but she'll eat the same brand from DJ. And DJ was like, yours is a different color. I'm like, oh, I don't, and I keep it inside once it's opened. I
Right.
put half of it in a sealed container and keep the other half in the house. So it's in air conditioning. So I don't know what's going on with the food, but I've never had this issue until the last few bags.
Interesting. Okay, maybe that was a bad batch.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Thank you for letting us know that. So just be aware of your food. Yeah, and someone else mentioned a while ago that if you thought your dog was dealing with allergies in regards to the food, to consider putting their food in the freezer. That I don't know exactly what it did, but apparently it helped. And this dog's allergies seemed to lessen when the food came from the freezer.
That's true. That I remember DJ telling me that I guess all food will have naturally, and this is completely normal, some kind of mite that you don't see. You don't even see it. And some dogs are very sensitive to it. So putting it in the freezer like 24 hours before serving it will kill it, and then it doesn't interfere with the dog.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Good to know. This is why we have these things like that. Okay. So I know on here before we've mentioned, do you want something, Laura? You're talking, but oh, we're good. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. We've mentioned different trainers that people listen to or watch on YouTube or follow on Instagram or okay. So just be mindful that not every trainer out there uses the methods we use, nor do they always use the commands. Now you can take ideas from them, which is great. I do that all the time. I pull wonderful ideas from various trainers out there. But I listen carefully to make sure that when I'm taking that information and applying it to my dogs, that I'm applying it the way New Horizons would be doing it. So I'm not suddenly changing my commands because I listen to a trainer and they have a different command. I'm making sure that I'm applying the commands that we use and the ideas that we use. So one of the trainers I listen to often and have actually bought some of her stuff is Susan Garrett. She's kind of crazy, but I really like her. She has some really good ideas. Some things I have to kind of, nope, that doesn't work for my dog, or nope, that, but some of her stuff is real good. So one of the things she talked about on a recent podcast was, how much do you train? So think about that. How much do you train? I have people ask me that a lot, because when I'm trying to encourage them to become a puppy raiser, they'll say, well, so how much time do you spend training your dog? So I feel like for the most part, I'm in training mode a lot. I wouldn't say 24/7, but I would say a lot. When I'm thinking about how I'm going to tell the dog to get off the counter, or if I'm thinking about how I'm going to tell a dog to go under the table, like there's a lot of things you're just in constant training mode. Take the opportunities that you have with your dog and seize them and use them for short training opportunities. That's really what, it's not like you have to formally say, okay, it's training time. Every few minutes that you have that are extra, maybe just sitting under your if you're a work from home person, your dog just sitting under the table at your feet or under the chair at your feet is a training opportunity. It's teaching them to behave themselves while you're sitting in a chair, because someday they might have to do that. When you're getting ready to go out the door somewhere and you make your dog wait at the door, that's a training opportunity. When you put your dog in a vehicle and you are getting them to load, that's a training opportunity, especially if you notice that they're struggling with it. And I know we have a few dogs out there who are struggling with load. So that's a training opportunity. If you notice that your dog is getting up on a table or getting up on a counter when they're not given permission to, that's a training opportunity to teach them that off. You're not allowed unless I invite you up and I give you the up command. You should be off. So it's not so much that we're formally saying, okay, it is all right, 7:27 training time. You can have times like that, but it's more about looking for training opportunities through the day. When your dog follows you into the bathroom, which many of our dogs I know do. Mine, well, Kayak tries. It's very small. And he has figured out a way to curl himself around and sit at my feet, which I think is hysterical, because at home I'd have 3 dogs. I mean, when I lived in a house that was bigger than 25 square feet, they would all come in. So now they can't. Quinn kind of lays outside the door, and Kayak now will come in. And they'll be like, dude, are you sure you want to? But that's a training opportunity just for them to sit at your feet and behave themselves and not be up in your lap. I also used to use the bathroom for my lap because I was sitting at a good height and just like that. And I would say my lap when I was on the potty. And so just those types of things, just looking for opportunities to train or use your commands, their commands, always in that mode. I've been doing more back and wait before walking out there to stop her from rushing out. Yes. So that's an important thing. We don't want our dogs to be rushing out the door. So they should be waiting every single time. Even when I go into a store, I will stop before the doors open and I will make whoever I have wait and then go through. And I come out and we wait and then go through. I try not to block traffic, but I'm just mindful of these are the things my dog is going to have to do once they get placed with their person. So just being and I don't remember what that podcast is called, but if you look up, I'll type her, Susan Garrett. Oops, sorry. Susan Garrett. She has podcasts. She has YouTube videos, and obviously because makes money at this, she does offer things for you to purchase. I try to look for things when they're on sale and they're at a discounted price quite a lot. So I just recently purchased something from her. I can't remember what it was. And I have found it very helpful. So there's lots of trainers out there. If you follow them on social media, if you look them up on YouTube, just keep in mind what New Horizons parameters are just in regards to commands and our expectations. So with that said, I do have a couple of videos that I want to share. Let's see. Okay, so this is Tug. This was a podcast I actually happened to listen to recently. So if your dog has had some type of surgery recently, like within that 10, 14, 21 day period, we don't want them tugging. So that's a time when they shouldn't be tugging. If you notice that they are getting very aggressive when they're tugging, then we don't want them tugging unless you know you can keep it under control. So just keep that in mind. But this is a picture. It's a video. Hold on, I have to share my screen. Where is it? There we go. Share screen. And wait a minute. Okay, can you see the video? Yes, Valerie's nodding her head. Okay. So
Yes.
Thank you. This is just a quick video of the dog tugging, and then we'll talk about it. Yes. Good boy, Tug. Yes. Good. Yes. Yes. Tug. Tug. Yes. Yes. Good boy. Okay. No, stop. Okay. Does anybody know what we use Tug for?
Is that opening cabinets and doors?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so it's really good for our dogs to practice tugging, but you want to be able to start the activity with them and then end it. Some dogs just really get into it and they'll start. It's okay if they're like, they're growling and, talking. That's fine. It's when you notice the switch to aggression, which doesn't happen very often with our dogs, but you need to know your dog well enough. So then once they get to where they can tug on that, whatever you have them tugging, then you can transfer that to a door, to a cupboard, to whatever you want them to open. But tugging is just really good for our dogs, and it helps them with that skill of opening doors. Some people say, oh, my dog won't tug. Make it a game. Play with them. You know, you hear tug, that's not going to entice your dog. You got to be like, come on, buddy, come on. You've got to kind of get excited. You know, if you don't want anybody to see you, go in your garage or go somewhere where nobody can see you and play with them. But dogs love to play the game of tug. 98% of our dogs. And that transfers to them, you putting it something on the door and saying, okay, come on, tug, tug. And they get it. If your dogs have been in prison, they should be able to do it. And if they're not into tugging, see if you can entice them by just playing. And some of our dogs are a little over the top, but you have to be able to start the tug with them and then stop it. So don't allow them to take the game longer than what you want them to, because then you've lost control. Any questions about tug? It's one of those things that we don't address often, but I think it's really important.
I have a question that is related, but not totally. So once you've taught them tug and you get them to stop when you're doing it, how do you make sure they're not just going around and tugging everything? And I'm asking that based on, we recently taught Corduroy the up command, and he is now a flipping nightmare. He has learned to counter surf. He has learned to open doors. He is doing all of this stuff, and it's been horrible. I don't want to teach him another new command because of this.
Oh no. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, so I guess my question in regards to him upping on places he's not, are you catching him and really getting on him? Like
No, he
making,
doesn't do it in front of us. He's never done it. I mean, we can turn our back for just 2 seconds and then all of a sudden he'll have something in his mouth. We have never seen him do it. We just find the evidence, and it's been pretty bad.
oh,
And he's not left alone very often. My husband works out of the house.
mm-hmm. Well, the only way to stop him is to catch him.
Yeah.
That really is. It's the only way to stop him is to catch him doing it and really get on him. Like, because it does happen. I mean, we want our dogs to up, but I can totally see Ada says he's an overachiever. Yeah, but in order to stop, and it's fun for them to get up and see, like, look what's up here. But yeah, you're gonna have to catch him somehow. You're gonna have to figure out, like, you're gonna have to set him up to catch him. Like if okay, if we disappear, he's gonna get up. Then you be waiting around the corner and scare the jeepers out of him.
Okay, thanks.
Because that is a good question. I mean, what do you do when you teach a dog a command and then they're like, "Ooh, I know this command, and yeah, I'm going to do it." So if they're doing it at an inappropriate time, you have to catch them. Because like Laura and I talk a lot about the win. If the dog gets the win, you've lost. So it sounds to me like Corduroy's getting the win. And like you said, he's doing it, he's sneaky. So you have to be sneakier. Somehow you've got to figure out how to be sneakier. Yeah, that's a hard one. Okay, any other questions about tug? Wait a minute, I've got. Okay, all right, let me show you the next video. If there's no tug questions. The other thing is you don't want to necessarily let them run away with the tug. Like you're playing tug, 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 tug. You have to make sure you're stopping the game and not allowing them to run off with the tug. Just because then again, it's a win. So in answer to Kelly's question, what if you teach them this and then they're going around tugging? So one way to stop the tugging would be to only put the tugs on the doors or the handles when you're practicing with them. Not to just leave them. I know there have been times when I've left the tug on my bathroom drawer or my kitchen drawer so that the dog, it's there, and whenever I want to train, I don't have to go get it and tie it on. But if you feel like your dog is going to be an overachiever, then you would want to pull those tugs away and not leave them there. Okay. I'll have to think about that one some more, Kelly, about that whole up thing. Okay, let's see. This one is, oh, this is a good one. Okay, so this is Armstrong. And so we don't have the command place in our manual. However, it's not a bad command to teach, especially if you want to do something and take the dog. I used to take my dogs to jazzercise, and with all the jumping around and music, they basically did what you're seeing Armstrong do. Every once in a while, I would have to correct a few times before they got that, but this is a great opportunity for just a lot of activity. Okay, so this dog is in place and he's watching. There's noise and people moving, and so even if you don't call it place, I just used to have my dogs down and stay in that spot. And then they had all these women dancing around them, and they pretty much could sit for the whole hour. Okay, so, and I used to take my dogs to a cycling class. They would sit right down on the floor next to me. So they can do it. It just takes some training. Okay, I love this one. So this is a great, if you've not started with getting things out of the laundry, this is a great way to start. And again, we may run into the same problem Kelly was talking about. Once they start doing it, they don't want to stop, but this is cute.
Yeah. What do you want? Get a toy. Good boy, Scout. Get a toy. I know. Get it. Get a toy. Garth Brooks, get a toy. Hey, find it. Get it. Garth, get it. Get it. Good boy, Garth. All right, Scout, take yours. Good boy. What you doing? Good boy. Get it. Get it. Good boy. Good boy, Garth. Good boy.
Okay, so the great thing about this is she put toys in the dryer. Great way to start getting your dogs interested in pulling things out of the dryer. We don't know if that's a skill they're going to use, but it wouldn't hurt for them to learn it. So getting them to get in the dryer and pull out a toy, that's how they start. That's how she started. Does anybody know? So Katie gave this to me. It's Garth Brooks. If you saw the white dog, that's her dog. And then she also has Lindbergh, right? Lindbergh. Okay. So she and I kind of had a conversation, and there was a couple of things she said, oh, I should have done this. Does anybody know, just watching that video, do we need to watch it again? Are you good? What things she could have done differently? Anything she could have done differently, or things she did well? Come on, don't be shy. Do we need to watch it again?
Well, she did well by praising him.
Yes.
And the higher voice and the encouragement.
Yep.
I definitely saw that.
Yes, those dogs were very excited about getting things out of the dryer. Even Garth Brooks, who I think sometimes has a motivation problem. She really motivated him with her that excitement and getting them to get in that dryer and get those toys in there. So yeah, so if this is something new that you're starting out with a dog, I would not start with your clothes, because chances are they might not have any interest in the clothes unless they're Armstrong. Armstrong seems to be a rock star, but if this is something you're first starting, I would put some toys in there. I think that's a wonderful idea. Anything else that she did right or could have done differently? Don't all speak at once.
I know. So the fact that she was praising them and encouraging them. I think you said we shouldn't say like the command over and over.
Right. Yes.
So that was one of the things that I thought,
Yep.
okay, that it was the repetitiveness of it.
Yep, yep. And Katie said that about herself. She said, I said a command too much. Also, you want to make sure with the retrieve command that you're using the retrieval, look, get it, bring it, you know, if you're going to practice that, or just look, get it, just getting it. So somebody asked how old. So Garth Brooks is an older dog, and the other dog, I don't know how old the white one is, but the other golden retriever is just a few months. Lindbergh's only 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, somewhere in there, maybe 4 months.
Yeah, Lindbergh is 5 months. I know that.
Okay, so yeah, so
No,
it's
but
a-
I was thinking, I was asking about the jazzercise class.
oh, when I brought them home at 16 weeks.
No way.
Yes, I did. I took them
Did
in.
were they tethered at all?
No.
Or just sitting there with a leash?
Yep. Yep. Once in a while, if they were a puppy, I might take a weight and just put it on their leash. But for the most part, you know, when they first started, I would put that they were puppies, so they're sleeping a lot anyway. And at 16 weeks, nobody's touching them. Nobody, you know, everybody's just pretty much leaving them alone. And yeah, I have videos and pictures of them, little baby puppies at jazzercise with me, just sacked out. So
That's
they learned pretty quickly. There was only 1 or 2 dogs that I would take, and they would they'd like lay down for a few minutes, and then they'd get up and come to me, and then they'd lay down for a few minutes, and and so I had to, by the 15 to 20 minute mark, at that point they would realize, okay, she's not going to give up on making me sit down, so I guess I'm going to sit down. Some dogs, it took them the first 30 minutes, but most took me a couple of times of correcting them, and they got it. It was amazing. And that was a great thing, because my jazzercise teacher loved the dogs. And so that was a great training ground, because it was music, it was women jumping around, it was activity, and it just taught them to just sit still.
That's amazing. Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was, I miss it.
I just wanted to say with the place, I use Go to Bed because that's
Okay.
in the manual, and it
Yep.
says that you can use that to have them go to a place.
Yep. Perfect. That's perfect. So yeah, so Jessica, that's something you're going to have to work at. It's hard for them to stay in one place while you're doing something else, especially if they're pretty attached to you. So it's something you just continue to work on a regular basis. And hold on. And I don't want to say and not give up, but you know, just it's an everyday thing. You know, you can practice just when you're out on a walk, having her stay, and you walk out in front of her, walk around her. Just even that will teach her to sit and stay in a place, and you're not right next to her. And just those little training moments that we take can be very helpful when you're trying to teach place or go to bed or whatever you're going to use. And she's right, go to bed is in the manual. We don't use that command a lot. And I don't even know that I used it when I would just tell my dogs to stay. Like they had to stay in that spot. So somebody sent me a couple of videos just now that said these are from today, some examples of what not to do. I don't know who this dog is. Oh, it's Kirsten.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Good job, load up. All right.
Okay, well, all right, hold on. I'm going to show you this off my phone because I don't have, hold on, I don't have time to send it. Wait. Okay. Hold on. Oh, good. Let's see.
Sit, Kiwi. Good boy, good boy. All right, let's go. Let's go. Good job, load up. All right.
Okay, so let's watch it
Sit,
one more.
Kiwi. Good boy, good boy. All right, let's go. Let's go. Good job, load up. All right.
So you didn't even have to say wait. He just
I didn't,
stayed there.
well, yeah. So, yeah, he did.
Yeah, must be, he knows. And then the only thing I would say is that you repeated, let's go. I mean, you probably could have said it once and then
Uh-huh.
walked to the car. You were in the garage. He was
Right.
in a safe place and he loaded beautifully.
He loves to go for rides. He
So,
will, I have to
that's
lots
good.
of times tell him no.
oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, wait a minute. Hold
Right
on.
there,
Hold on.
I just sent the three. I actually haven't even watched them. I did them this afternoon. I was like, oh, we got a class tonight. Let me do these quick and send them off. So
Okay,
they might
let's
be
see.
garbage.
Wait a minute.
Come on.
Oh, don't ignore that one.
What were you trying to
I was
do?
actually what I was going to do. What I was going to do is I was actually going to try to get him to load into a different car and see how he would do. So I was trying to get him to come out and do, but he was like, I'm already in. Why are you making me do this? So that was a mess.
Round two. Sit, Kiwi. Sit. Sit, Kiwi.
Okay. So here we go.
Round two. Sit, Kiwi. Sit. Sit, Kiwi. Good boy. Good boy.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, I
Wait,
said it too
wait.
many times.
Yes. You didn't even give him a chance to think about what he was doing.
Yeah.
And we
I
all
know.
do that. We're all, every single one of us, I would almost bet that every single one of us is guilty of that. It's just, you want to give them think time so that
Mhm.
you're not saying it over and over again. But he did. He eventually did it.
Sit. Sorry. Sit. Kiwi, sit. Wait. 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 Oh, jeez.
That was the one that I was like, he keep flying
Okay.
out. Like he waited for a second, you
So
know.
part of it could be that he was distracted. There's activity going on with the other dog. So
Yeah.
if you do have multiple dogs, and I'm totally guilty of this because I have multiple dogs, I really have to focus on training just one, taking just one out and working with just one
Ah,
because Quinn knows all of her commands. I say anything I say to her, she'll do it. And gets very excited because she thinks she's going to get a treat too. So
Uh-huh.
sometimes Kayak is like, what are you doing? Why are you here? So
yeah.
so if you have
Yeah,
multiple
cute.
dogs,
That Pumpkin's older and she's way more mellow and she will.
right. So
you
there's
know.
there's a lot of things that mellow dog can teach that young dog, but
Yeah.
sometimes you need to just do one on
Just
one,
Kiwi.
just Kiwi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and that's where it's good when I take Kiwi to work because I can't take Pumpkin to work.
Right.
But I take Kiwi, I work in the schools and take Kiwi to work. Can I tell a cool story
Please
real
do.
quick? So I'm an occupational therapist and I work in the schools and I took Kiwi last Friday with me to one of my schools and we went into the severe and profound classroom with several children with autism. And one of the boys, when we walked in, was having a massive meltdown and was screaming and banging the walls. And so I took Kiwi over and we just sat. And it was the coolest thing that the boy, Kiwi didn't react. He was totally calm, totally fine, just kind of sat and then ended up laying down. This little boy then saw Kiwi and stopped and came over and started. They were worried he was going to hit him. And I said, well, just hold his hand, see. And he started petting it. And then he found like little bits of goldfish. This boy found little crumbs of goldfish crackers to feed to Kiwi, was trying to interact with him. And it was such a beautiful, successful session.
Yeah, when you watch a dog de-escalate a situation, it's awesome.
It was so awesome. And I got like some pictures of it so I could show the principal, and stuff, what good this is.
Yeah, that's amazing. That really is amazing. Okay, so we talked about Tug. talked about if you are, especially if you have an older dog. So this will work with puppies too. It would probably be a fun game for them. Turn your trainings into games, just fun things. Susan Garrett talks a lot about that everything should be a game, because then your dog wants to do it. So like the laundry thing, you want to teach your dog to pull things out of the laundry. Definitely start with toys. They want their toys. It's got their smell on them. Or if you throw new toys in there, a great way to teach them to bring it out of the laundry. And then just teaching your dog. I know some of our dogs have, what's the word I want? Separation. You know, they look at you and they're like, oh my gosh, you're 2 feet from me. I can't stand it. Oh my gosh. But teaching your dogs to go to bed or to place is a great way for them to learn to be in a place or away from you, 10 feet, 20 feet, however long, for a certain amount of time. Because, you know, they do spend a lot of time under our feet or at our side or going with us. And so that's just that's their thing. But it is important that they can be a little bit away from us and not have a meltdown. So, because then the service dog will need a service dog. So,
Wendy, can you hear me?
yes, I can, Etta.
Okay, I've got a comment on her first video.
Okay.
This is something Janet caught me on. Up is a command, load is a command, load up is not a command. Do you want, and Janet said, do you want your dog to load or do you want your dog to up?
Okay. Yep.
That's it.
So that's something, yeah, something we need to, we're all guilty of, bringing in other words that don't belong. And yeah, so, right. Yep.
I'm really bad at saying, come on, let's go. Janet's always getting on me for that and I have to catch myself.
Yes. Yep. It's just let's go or come. Come is coming to you. Let's go is you are moving forward with the dog. So there's a definite difference, and we definitely don't want to confuse them. You know, with our English language, we're just, words are coming out, you know, faster than we can think sometimes. But it is important for the dog that we're pretty specific. So thank you, Etta, for that wonderful reminder, because it's true. I do it all the time myself. Come on, you guys. Like I'm talking to my buddies. Yes. Laura, are you still here? She disappeared. I know it's Lamar's birthday tonight, so I think they were celebrating and trying to be on the Zoom. So does anybody have any questions or comments? Anything you want to add? Anything you're wondering about? Any issues you're having? Now's your time. Jules, if you're on here with Canyon, how is the barking going? Okay. Let's see,
I have a
think-
question
Oh, go for it, Val.
if we're not hearing from Jules. So Hoover has this really bad habit of chewing on Dior's ears. Like, I'm not like saying he goes over and does a little nip, like they'll be laying on the floor next to each other and he is, and she lets him, and her ears are soaked and then they dry and they're crusty. And like, I every time I see it, I tell him, no, leave it.
Right.
But he's like obsessed. And I don't know, can I put that like bitter apple stuff on his ears?
Yeah,
Or is that going to bother her?
That's a good question. When you were saying that, that's what I was thinking. Oh, what about that bitter apple stuff?
Yeah, but I don't want it to bother her if it's so close to her nose and stuff.
Right. You know what? We'll have to find out. That I do not know. That would be a good question.
It's like an obsessive behavior.
Because he loves her.
They are insane.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
each other.
Yeah. Kayak licks Quinn's face. He'll just lick around her nose, or, you know, just let me clean. He mostly does it in the morning, but yeah. So
Yeah.
bitter apple.
They're either
Okay.
making out or doing Fight Club. It's like one or the other.
Okay. So this is Hoover biting on Dior's ears.
Yep.
Okay. And we want to know if bitter apple can be put on her ears.
Yeah, or
Okay.
anything that might deter him, that wouldn't bother her, but would
Okay.
deter him from chewing until he gets out of the habit. You know?
Okay. Anything that
I
might-
just didn't want to like start putting stuff near her mouth and nose.
No, absolutely, that might deter him from, yeah. That's not, and he does that like all the time. Val, does he do it all the time?
Any
Or
chance he gets.
Any chance he gets? That's so funny.
Yeah, any chance he gets.
He's not, but
It's
he's
like
not
bad.
like, he's not biting her. Is she crying? Like it hurts her?
No, she just lays there and looks at me and I'm like, tell him to stop because I'm waiting for her to be like, you know?
Is she the older one?
She's older.
Okay, so the same thing happened to me. Kiwi was doing the same thing to Pumpkin, and Pumpkin's 7, and totally letting him, nothing. I had to go when I took Pumpkin to the groomer, and they nearly had to shave her ears because they were so matted from Kiwi doing that. It was so gross. I felt horrible. And then when Kiwi started losing his teeth, I thought that Pumpkin was bleeding, but it was really Kiwi losing his teeth and the blood from there. But it was so cute. Kiwi would bite Pumpkin's ear and then there'd be blood and then she'd go clean it off. And it was amazing. So luckily I had a great groomer that just completely shaved her ears and then they stopped. They do it some now, but not like they used to.
I mean, Hoover's 2. He's not a puppy. He's not teething or something. It's like an
I
obsessive.
thought he was a puppy. Oops.
He's 2. He just had a birthday a couple of weeks ago and it's like an obsessive behavior. And I check her ears all the time to make sure he's not breaking any skin or there's not any like, weird moisture things happening on her ears because they're always sopping wet with saliva. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And they're fine. And she doesn't seem that bothered, but it's like, it's not a great behavior.
That's true. Yeah, because chances are if he does it to her, he might do it to another dog that's not so appreciative of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he didn't do it to Brew.
He tried a little bit. Oh, Jesus. I saw something out the front door. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you. Quiet. Thank you. He did it a little bit to him, but Brew was a little bit more like, and because Brew didn't like play with him, I think he kind of gave up after a while.
Okay.
But he did try it at first.
Good. Okay, so just a quick reminder that about the events coming up. We do have the IKEA training on November 18th. I think that'll be a really good training. And then we do have the other events that are coming. Christy, I know, is putting things on the website. If you guys see it, I mean, on the Friends page, sorry. If you guys see things on the Friends page and you're able to participate, great. If you're not, just say can't do it this time or something, just so she's kind of getting responses because she's trying to find out, just what people are interested in doing and getting us into events now that we can do that and get the word out again. So I think that's all. Thank you to oh, wait a minute. Do dogs in prison? Do dogs in prison get their paws trimmed with scissors and clippers? So no, Faith, I don't think so. We're not quite sure if their feet get done at all, only because
Slate Slate was in prison and he does not like his paws touched, messed with, especially with the clippers. Whereas Fred here is like, whatever, he could care less.
So I think it depends on the dog.
We've been trying, but what?
It depends on the dog. It does. It's not always whether they get in prison or sometimes, and it doesn't. I mean, I think as puppy raisers and we get 18-week-old puppies, I know I'm constantly touching their paws and they're having my hands in their mouth, but
he just seems very uncomfortable and unused to it. Like, like it's so foreign. And so, we expose Fred to it because he's a baby, but I just wondered if I was like, shouldn't he be used to this a little bit?
Not necessarily. Try a lick mat. They have lick mats where there's texture
so
on
that
it.
he's
doing something while you're cutting or whatever you're doing.
Right.
Yep.
All
They
right.
tend to work pretty well.
Okay. We tried the spoon, peanut butter on a spoon, and that wasn't good enough, but the mat might work. I'll try that.
Yeah, you can freeze the peanut butter, and so it takes them a while. If you just slap peanut butter and give it to them while you're doing it, it doesn't last very long. But if you peanut
That's
butter
what we
in the
did.
freezer.
Yeah, we tried that.
Okay.
And rubbing the belly because he loves that, but I'll try the lick mat.
Oh.
Thanks.
I know that can be a challenge. I understand. All right, if nobody else has any other questions, thank you guys. Thank you for what you're doing. New Horizons couldn't do this without you, and we appreciate you very, very much. I hope to see some of you on the 18th of November at IKEA, and I think that's all. I think that's it. The Q&A, I thought it was the 22nd after the 18th, but I guess it's before. Look in your newsletter, it will tell you there. So, thank you guys. Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Hi, thanks.
Bye, Val. Good to see you guys.
You too. Wait, will you be at?
Bye, Wendy.
Bye, Melina.
Will you be
Yes.
at IKEA or anything?
Yes,
Are you
yes,
guys
I
close
will.
by?
I will. Yep, I'm in Flagler
Okay.
County right now, so I will be at IKEA. I can't wait.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna try to see if I can leave work early, but no guarantees.
Oh, Melina Bunker never returned this bag.
How are you liking your new job?
I love the job, but the schedule is so different. Like I'm not used to getting home at 3 o'clock and now I get home at like close to 6. But I get to come home at lunch because it's 5 minutes away. So I come home, I throw the ball in the backyard for the dogs. One of them is in the crib